Raider Nation, what's going on? It's Mitchell Renz here, host of the Raiders Report, and Chris Simms flat out disrespected Aidan O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. I'm going to tell you what he said up here on today's show. I got to give a shout out, though, to today's sponsor, Panda Sups. Go to chatsports.com/mystack. That link is going to be available to you all down in the comments, down in the description. MyStack, everything that I use, from protein, my BCAAs, my fat burner. The deal's usually $199. You can get it for $103. Use code STACK. You're welcome on that hell of a deal. So NFL analyst, former quarterback, some people consider him the quarterback guru, Chris Simms, flat out disrespected the Las Vegas Raiders quarterback room. And I've sat up here on this show before and I've said this isn't the best room that the Raiders have. Heck, if you want to go check out my positional rankings that I have for the Raiders, find out where I think that they stack up against the running back room, the wide receiver room, the tight end room. We make tons of content here, and I'm not going to sit up here and say that I totally disagree with everything that Chris Simms says, but I do know this. Most people, especially a lot of the big-time believers in Aidan O'Connell, are going to absolutely hate this video, and you might go after Chris Simms. If you're wondering, Mitch, who the hell is Chris Simms? Former NFL quarterback from 2003-2010. I'll be real. This is one of those guys that didn't really play all that well. His dad, his brother, they also were NFL quarterbacks. But he is a well-respected NFL analyst, especially with his quarterback rankings. And he does this every single year where he breaks down his top 20 quarterbacks. And he goes from 40, works his way down to 1. I saw where he ranked the Raiders QBs, and I was like, man, I got to talk to the nation about this. So the way that we're going to do this is, first, we're going to start where he ranked Gardner Minshew. And then we're going to look at where he ranked Aidan O'Connell. But here's my question to the nation for everybody that maybe is just tuning into the show for the very first time. Where does Gardner Minshew rank in the NFL amongst all quarterbacks? Starters, backups, third stringers. Where do you think he ranks for the NFL QBs? To me, I know that Gardner isn't a top 20 guy. And when the Raiders signed him, I kind of sat back and I was like, I really wanted a home run swing. Gardner Minshew is a single of a quarterback, but he isn't outside the top 30 of QBs. To me personally, and I've said this before, he's around the 25th best guy in the NFL. You're not probably ever going to win a Super Bowl with Gardner Minshew. Is he good enough to get you to the playoffs if you have an outstanding defense and a complete team around him? Yeah, I think so. But when you look here at Simms QB rankings, or as he calls them, his quarterback countdown, he's got Gardner Minshew here at number 39, ranked right before Jarrett Stidham, ranked behind Kenny Pickett, ranked behind Joe Flacco, ranked behind Jacoby Brissett. And I get it. And sometimes I feel like what Chris likes to do is throw things at the wall, and you'll see some of the rankings here of throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks because people are going to pay attention to it. And I know the Raiders aren't a big-ticket item this year because they don't have that franchise quarterback, that big-name QB. And a lot of times we focus so much on the name of the quarterback instead of the player himself. And Minshew has done a fine job considering the fact that he has been on 3 different NFL teams in 4 different years. And the one reason why I kind of want the nation to start rallying behind Minshew a little bit more is I felt like we gave Derek Carr so much time, so many excuses of he's got a new head coach, he's got to learn a brand new system. Gardner Minshew has to learn a brand new system, a brand new team, a brand new head coach. It seems like every single year, and yet he still puts up good numbers. Numbers that, quite frankly, have gotten some quarterbacks paid over $40 million and another quarterback who's about to get $50 million. So coming up here, I wanted to do a fun blind test. And I actually used to do these a long, long time ago back in my fantasy football days where, I used to feel like people would fall in love with the name of a player and overdraft that player. This is exactly what we're going to look at here. We're going to look at 2 blind QB tests because these numbers simply do not lie. If you want to make sure that you never miss anything around the Raiders, hit that subscribe button. Make sure those notifications are turned on. Also, if you like debate shows, if you like shows where there's a lot of back and forth, whether it's me and Jeremy, whether it's me and the audience, whether it's the audience and Jugs, if you're looking for Raiders content 365, I promise we're the channel for you. So let's go. Let's get into this blind test right now. And this is 2 years as a starter. So maybe some injuries have been involved here and there, but in 49 games played for quarterback 1, quarterback 2's got 50 games played. Completion percentage, 62.6 for QB1, 63.8 for quarterback 2. Touchdowns, very similar, 59 to 58. Interceptions, a little bit heavier for quarterback 2. Quarterback rating, advantage QB1. So my question is, before I reveal who these quarterbacks are, Which one are you rolling with? Are you rolling with QB1 or are you rolling with QB2? Let me know down in the comments, because realistically, I bet you 90% of the people right now, if you don't know who this is, are going to be rolling with quarterback 1. And guess what? Quarterback 1 is Gardner Minshew. Quarterback 2 is Trevor Lawrence. And if Trevor Lawrence was the quarterback of the silver and black, we're getting 4 or 5 primetime games. We are a no-doubt playoff caliber team, and I think Vegas takes our 6.5 wins that they have us slotted in at, and they probably put us all the way up to 10.5. Bottom line is, I get that Trevor Lawrence was the number 1 overall pick, but what has Lawrence done to warrant a lot of praise that he gets? What has he done that warrants a $50 million contract? But also, what has Gardner Minshew got to do to start getting a little bit of respect in these streets? So let's go to the next one here. This is the first 49 career games for both of these quarterbacks. You got QB-A and QB-B. Before I reveal who these quarterbacks are, let me know which one you would end up rolling with, A or B, because quarterback rating, advantage B, passing yards, advantage A, touchdowns, B, interceptions, B, win percentage. And I know both of these win percentages are low, and I also know that not win percentage falls on the quarterback's shoulders. But, this is also a interesting quarterback battle, because according to Chris Simms, Daniel Jones must be in his top 25 quarterbacks, which, maybe he is a top 25 QB. Maybe he does have the upside. But here's the other part of it. If you tell me right now that you would look at me dead in the eyes and say, I'd rather have Daniel Jones at $40 million a year compared to Gardner Minshew, who's making about 12.5 on average per season, you are a flippin' wild man. So Minshew may not have that great name, and he might not have been a high draft pick like those 2 other guys that I just mentioned, but he is not. And I repeat, he is not the 39th best quarterback in the National Football League. Chris Simms, that is laughable. Coming up next, this is where you guys are really going to get ticked off. Find out where Simms ranks Aidan O'Connell, because I've given my 2 cents on where I think Aidan falls in the NFL, but I like when I hear from other people like Graf, Chugs, a guy like Wasted, and now you're going to hear another opinion, somebody who has no ties whatsoever to this organization, and he's going to give us just gut, honest opinion on where he ranks Aidan O'Connell. Before I tell you where that ends up going down, this is the Mitchell Renz stack from Panda Sup. Sometimes, I'm going to be honest, we put on a little weight during the football season, and then I try to drop it down, trying to get into wedding shape here. But everything that you see up on screen is usually $199. We've actually already discounted it for you down to $159. And then on top of that, if you use code MyStack, you get an additional 35% off. So again, this is like a $199 value. You're getting it for $103. My man Billy Mays would be very happy with me right now with the deals I got going on. Though, back in my old day growing up, I thought only if you saw something on TV, it was a guaranteed $19.99. If it was over that, it was crazy. This is a hell of a deal. Billy Mays would love this one. You get your protein, you get your fat burners in there, which I really like. They help curb my appetite. You get a protein shake, a drawstring bag. You get some extra little samples in there. And on top of that, the BCAAs, which are very, very important, especially in the summertime to keep your body hydrated. And you want your muscles to grow if you're working out, right? I think so. All right, let's go. Coming up here next on the show, find out where Chris Simms has Aidan O'Connell ranked in his top 40 quarterback countdown. Because as soon as I saw Gardner come in at 39, I was like, I can't wait to see where he puts Aidan. Is he going to put Aidan higher than Gardner? Is he going to put him above some of these other rookies like a Jayen Daniels, a Bo Nix, some of these quarterbacks that we talked about so much this offseason? Guess what? Where does Aidan O'Connell rank after a season where he was a rookie, where he had 62.1% completion percentage, 2,218 yards, 12 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, getting ready to enter his second year, a season where he had to deal with two different head coaches, 2 different offensive coordinators. I know that the stack was absolutely against Aidan. I get it. But hey, where does Chris Simms rank him? I'll tell you, but I got to know from you. If I'm going to ask you where you're going to put Gardner, and if I'm going to sit up here and I'm going to say Gardner's right around that 25th best QB in the National Football League. Now, he's not the 25th guy that I'd roll with if you're telling me I got to build for the next 10 seasons. No, it's not how Simms rankings work. They based on this season. This season and this season alone, to me, Gardner is a top 25 guy. But in terms of Aidan O'Connell, where does he rank? Because, get ready. Buckle up. O'Connell, I don't think he is a top 32 quarterback, and that's going to upset some people. And I hope that to the people that it upsets, hey, I hope you continue to watch this show, continue to argue with me, because earlier when I said subscribe if you want debates, I like to believe myself as that I am a master debater, especially when it comes all things with the silver and black. But to me, he's at least in the top 40. And I say that because there are not these ranking quarterbacks that have literally zero NFL experience above Aidan. And yes, he is 100% limited from a athletic standpoint. The attributes, like, he doesn't have anything at body-wise that I would say is above average in the NFL. Well, the reason why he's even on here is because he's smart up here and he's a good, accurate quarterback. But he's not even in the top 40 according to Chris Simms. Simms has Winston, Bryce Young, Sam Darnold, Anthony Richardson, Ryan Tannehill. Quite frankly, I'm not really going to disagree with any of the quarterbacks that you see on screen right now. Like, I do think that I would have Aidan over Jarrett Stidham personally. I do think that I'd rather have Aidan than a guy like Ryan Tannehill. I mean, I'm not afraid to say that. Tannehill to me is ranked way too high on this list. And the fact that Simms is putting Tannehill above Anthony Richardson, above Bryce Young, I think is absolutely laughable. And then he's got 30 to 26 here. Bo Nix ain't even a top 50 quarterback in my book. Jayen Daniels, guys know I'm really high on him. Penix, I can see the upside there. J.J. McCarthy, the notes already out of Vikings camp are he is looking bad. I'm talking bad. And it doesn't surprise me. He's not ready to play in the NFL. So the fact that Simms is putting all these other quarterbacks in front of Aidan, I wanted to do it so you guys could see another standpoint, another point of view, and maybe you stop hating on me and kind of come to the realization here a little bit that Aidan just not the dude that a lot of y'all think he is. He could be a good backup, and he's going to be a good backup, and he's going to be a hell of a quarterback in the NFL for a long time, like a Brian Hoyer. I'm not afraid to say it. And Aidan, even though he didn't show up on the video, and when I am making this video, I will admit to all of y'all that Simms has not revealed his top 25 quarterbacks, and I guarantee you there's going to be people that are like, well, Mitch, he hasn't revealed his top 25 quarterbacks yet. He literally says in the video when he's dropping all this information down that Gardner Minshew will clearly be the starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he also says that Aidan O'Connell didn't make his top 40 list, though he was an honorable mention. So at least Aidan got in that honorable mention list. I put out a video around my top quarterback rankings where I had Aidan ranked, and this one's probably all the way back to, 3 months ago. That's probably at that point. I'll see if I can find it for all of y'all, and I'll make you a deal. If I can find it, where do I got to go? I got to go right here. I'm going to put it right here if I can find it, if I can. But it's a video of me breaking down all the quarterbacks, and I have Aidan not in my top 40, but he's right outside that top 40 list, right near, I want to say, like 45. Go check it out. I'm going to get some haters. It is what it is. I don't do this show for the haters. I do this show to just give you guys my honest opinion. So according to Simms rankings, the Raiders have the worst, and I mean the worst quarterback room in the NFL right now. And that's simply because, one, not a lot of name value, a lot of unprovenness. And then the other reason, which I don't blame Simms, the ceiling is very limited. And I will say, out of all the NFL teams, out of all 32 NFL teams, I do think that the Raiders' quarterback ceiling is the lowest, where you're not going to find a quarterback like Gardner's not going to throw for 30 touchdowns. Aidan's not going to throw for 30 touchdowns. Are you hoping that Aidan and Gardner can get around 23, 24 touchdowns, whoever the starter is? Yes. But I also say that the floor is a lot higher than a lot of other of those NFL teams. And I do think that the Raiders are right around that bottom 5 QB room. But to say that they're the worst, I don't think it's fair at all to Aidan, but especially to Gardner Minshew. If you made it this far in the video, y'all remember, hopefully you're interacting with Jeremy Chugs and I. We're always trying to, hit you guys up and give you the information, the content. I'm going to be hanging out with my dad this weekend, so if anybody wants to know what the lowdown is there, please don't be shy. Hit me up. Also, on top of that, we still keep updates with news, rumors, anything going on around the Raiders, anything going on with our personal life. So please, don't be shy. Those links are also available to y'all in the description of today's video. So in conclusion, I disagree with the Raiders having the worst quarterback room in the NFL. Simms quarterback countdown lists, Chugs and I jokingly say this a lot, that we don't think that Simms lists are very good. Hell, I can remember when he ranked Kellen Mond ahead of who? Like Jalen Hurts? And there's always examples. Sure, he had a good ranking back in 2017, but when you look at his initial rankings compared to his final rankings, I think final rankings are more important. Yet, People and Sims only talk about the initial ones. That's all I'm saying. I'm more upset with Minshew's ranking than I am Aidan. I disagree with Minshew's where, again, I'm going to put him like 14 spots higher. Aidan, to me, is close to where I do think he's ranked in the NFL. But, hey, if you made it this far in the video, man, you got to be a real one. And hopefully you watch our next videos coming up here on the Raiders Report, which are going to be coming right after this ad screen.